Now, we got one little teeny tiny TIAC thing to do. TIAC. Stan Cook, I believe you're the president of TIAC? Is that the Tourism Industry Association? The tourism industry, according to Cook. Stan, would you like to join me up here for a minute? There's a couple of very close buddies would like to express their appreciation. To you for your years and years and years and years and thousands and millions of words and commitment to HNL. Have a seat. Have a seat. This might take a while, so you might as well be comfortable. Stan has become one of the finest ambassadors for Newfoundland Labrador that there's ever been. He's at the pinnacle now. Yes, absolutely. He's affectionately known as the past president. And now, thanks to me, this year he's done. You're done. Well, it's been great working with you. You had tremendous insight, guidance. I'm trying to be serious. He's trying to be serious. But honestly, when you become president of this organization, if you don't have a good past president behind you, you really got to learn the hard way, and that's by listening to the executive director or the CEO. So there's a couple of guys anyway would like to say thank you very much, and we're going to start with Brett Thornhill.
Doesn't he look worried? Isn't this great? Stan, usually so in control of the situation. Not tonight, Stan, my friend, not tonight. Well, first of all, when Bruce asked me whether or not, or whether I could come up with a couple of stories about Stan, the question wasn't whether or not I could come up with a couple of stories, the question was which ones? But after talking to a few people, and some of the stories that I could tell from personal experience, I couldn't tell. So I managed to garner a few stories from a couple of other people, and I'm going to start with one that was relayed to me about Stan's campaigning for his first TIAC board position. Picture the scene. Stan Cook, little operator from Newfoundland, with all the big boys at TIAC, Air Canada, Fairmont, big players, all big players in the tourism industry. So Stan decided that in order to position himself, and they had an opportunity to speak to the membership and state their case. So Stan thought that the best way to position himself to TIAC was to be Stan the little man. After which, apparently some of his compatriots at the time, mostly women I believe, and I'm not sure what that means, decided to make little banners and walk around the entire event with Stan the little man. Stan the little man. So somehow that worked and Stan managed to get appointed to the board. I guess there is truth in advertising after all. Then something that I kind of personally witnessed myself was Stan's actual first TIAC board meeting, which was in 2005 actually. I think coincidentally enough, it was after the last convention here in Corner Brook. For those of you who have seen Stan at 6 a.m. in the morning, after the Gala, not a pretty sight. So Stan decides he's not going to go to bed. He's got to catch a flight at 7 a.m. He's not going to go to bed. He's just going to go straight from the party to the airport. So he leaves the Glen Mill Inn, literally is poured into a cab, taken to the airport. Rumor has it the trip to the airport required three pit stops. Then got poured onto a plane. He admits himself he doesn't actually remember getting on the plane. Extra large tip for the cabbie, obviously. Cleanup fee, etc.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true.
So now I want you to imagine the poor soul sitting next to Stan on the flight. Can you imagine sitting next to Stan? 6 a.m., you've all seen him at 6 a.m. in the morning. Not a pretty sight. Of course, the only good thing about sitting next to Stan on that flight was that he didn't talk the entire flight. When's that ever happened? So Stan eventually shows up at the board meeting, has no voice whatsoever, hungover like a dog. To borrow Danny's expression, sick enough to be in 2 hospitals. And still probably managed during that meeting to out-talk every one of them. So Stan, just a couple of words just to say farewell after, I believe it's 12 years on the board. Your contribution to the industry goes without saying. It's been phenomenal. It's been marked several times, and again here tonight in all seriousness. But I do want to mention, before I leave the stage, that it's actually pretty appropriate the way the stage is decorated tonight. It resembles a Survivor set. And Stan, my friend, finally after 12 years, the tribe has spoken. You've been voted off.
Roger Jameson. These are all Stan's best buddies in the industry. Don't forget that. These are his best buddies.
He won't even shake my hand tonight.
We'll see.
Stan and I have had the pleasure of being on the road together all across this country for many years, and Bruce kind of dropped this on me coming up on the bus tonight. Said, "What Stan Cook story are you going to tell?" Stan and I end up in several make-believe lounges across this country from time to time. Last year, we happened to be in Toronto together, and we were on a late flight, and the Newfoundlanders were going through the lounge, and we were having a glass of wine with everybody who was going through. And we're sitting there, and on comes the speaker and says, "Mr. Cook and Mr. Jameson, they're removing your bags from the plane. Would you please go to the gate?" Stan was looking at me, he said, "Oh my God, we're going to miss the flight." I've never seen a man run so quick in my life from one end of the airport to the other. He almost ran as quickly as he did last year when he had those white shorts on at the Gala. It's been a great 12 years. I sit on the board of Kayak with Stan. He's an incredible chair. He's going to do great things for the tourism industry in Canada as he has for Newfoundland and Labrador.
Mr. Dan Hutton, Esquire.
You doing, pal? You okay? When Bruce came to me at 5 o'clock this evening and asked me if I'd say a few words, I was like, sure. I've known Stan since we're 4 years old, so over the last 36 years, our friendship, there's a hell of a lot of stories I could tell, but then I'd have to kill every one of you for most of them. But to speak to, I guess, the association we've had through Hospitality Newfoundland, we have a plethora of nicknames that we call each other over the years, and there's a ton of them, but for different situations. And there's one that we use, that he uses when it's a pseudonym when we're out with the boys, and it's Frank Johnson. Don't worry, Stan, it's okay. So, so when we're on the road, we all have the pseudo-names, and this was always the way with the boys. So Stan becomes the president of Hospitality Newfoundland. And of course, he's immediately the poster boy. He's thrown in every media situation. He's given his opinions on this and his theories on that, and he's on the cameras and the whole bit. So anyway, about a month into his tenure, all the boys are on a boys' weekend out in Corner Brook. Actually, he was here in Corner Brook. So it's a Friday night, and we all have a few drinks, and we head downtown. Can't remember the bar now, but it was full house. Everybody's having a great old time, having a few drinks. And, we were chatting up at this one and that one, having a grand time. So Stan's chatting up this one, and he's going out on the dance floor, and he's dancing with her, and we're all on the sidelines just watching him. And he's dancing, chatting away with her, and the conversation sort of went, he was like, yeah. So he said, so what's your name? And she's like, Loretta, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm Frank Johnson. She goes, no, you're Stan Cook Jr. And he's like, what? What? She goes, yeah, you're Stan Cook Jr. You're the president of Hospitality Newfoundland. I see you on NTV all the time. And he's like, that's right, I am. And we're on the sidelines watching it, and it was like this, like, and then it was fear, and he's looking for the parachute. It was priceless. So immediately the song ends. She goes that way, and he comes straight for him, and he's looking at me, and I can see the deer in the headlights. He looks at me and goes, Hutton, Frank Johnson is dead. So Stan, 12 years later, you have your anonymity back. Frank may rise like the phoenix. Congratulations. You're a champion for the tourism industry. Your passion for this province is unprecedented. Cheers, my friends.
And we got one more. Sir Paul Lennon. So you got on you.
Last chance to leave. No, you're staying? You're staying? My job is not to praise Stan, is to really ignore him. And it's sort of interesting to follow Dan and Brett, the Brooks and Dunn of Hospitality Newfoundland Labrador. The talent in Stan's hospitality suite, talent that Stan doesn't have, of course, we all know that. And Roger, of course. And Bruce, you should learn never to give a past president the microphone. Roger has that ability to talk and talk, which Stan has also, of course. And Bruce, you know, Bruce came to me at 4 o'clock. Gee, I was lucky, you got 5 o'clock. Said, I want you to come up and say something funny about Stan. I said, God, there's a task. So I went down to the King Henry pub at the Glen Mill to sit with my pen and pencil and try to come up with something. And John Dix came in and Rex Avery and Jim Roach, and I came away from there at 6 o'clock with a blank sheet. I wonder why. And anyway, I saw Bruce in the lobby at 6, and I said, Bruce, I got nothing. Stan is not that funny. I got nothing. And he said, too bad, make it up, you're on. Now that's leadership. That's leadership. So anyway, there's nothing funny about Stan guy. And it's nice to see the minister here. The minister is here, right? The minister of the Codco Diaries, I should say. Don't give up your day job. And you know, I think back to the time when Stan first came to Hospitality Newfoundland. He was like a little puppy. He came with his mommy and his daddy. Those big eyes, big teeth, tail wagging.
Lots of hair.
And of course the 3 wise men, Roger, Stellman, and myself, all past presidents, which mean we're past wise men also. So we better take this young fellow under our wing, give him some guidance. So the first thing we said to him, if you're getting involved, you're going to go to events and conferences, first thing you must do is go to bed early and be the first on deck in the morning, just like us. And of course he followed that to the letter, including this morning at 5 o'clock when he kicked everybody out of his suite. And you know, don't be fooled by that smile. This guy is a very serious guy. That's just a gimmick he's got going. He's very serious. He's quite ambitious. Matter of fact, he makes Stephen Harper look like Mother Teresa. And there's more to Stan than kayaks, of course. And he's been compared to Joey Smallwood over the years. And Greg Malone reminded me of a quote from Joey Smallwood that is aptly appropriate for Stan. Reminds me quite a bit about Stan. Joey said years ago, I believe there is a God. And I believe I am that God. No, he's not that shy, and he's not afraid to talk and talk and talk. I'm almost finished, Dan. Don't give up. Don't give up. He's not afraid to talk. You know, I had a couple of friends that were down in Florida, and they stepped off the elevator in the Sheraton. They didn't know Stan. Stan was just going by talking on the phone. They stopped. They thought they stepped into the wind tunnel at NASA. It was like a vacuum. They said, "What was that?" "I don't know, but it was alien." But it was smiling. See, there's that smile again. But, you know, now that he's gone on to great things at CTC and TIAC and stuff like that, and he's good buddies with people like Monty Brewer, who Roger introduced Stan to Monty Brewer. Monty Brewer hasn't forgiven Roger yet for that one. But you can see him in a meeting, you know, on the 32nd floor up there in Montreal in the boardroom with Monty Brewer saying, Monty, you got to get your people to Newfoundland. We got to solve this air access thing. You got to get them down to Newfoundland. They'll love it. He said, we'll take the ops people and put them in a yellow kayak. We'll take the scheduling people and put them in a blue kayak. And we'll take the marketing people and put them in a red kayak. And we'll take them out to Cape Royal and run them under that falls, rinse them off, and they'll see the light. They'll move to headquarters in Newfoundland. No problem, Monty. He really believes that. No problem. But I'm like Brett when he talked about Survivor. I had the same image of Stan. He'll end up on Survivor, reality TV. I can see him now at low tide, standing on a stool in the water, on one leg, with one hand over his head holding the coconut in those white tennis shorts, and they're saying, "You're off the island. You're gone. You're finished." Anyway, Stan, boy, he's a great representative, as the guys have said, of Newfoundland and Labrador, and you'll do great things. And it's been a pleasure working with you over the years.
And there's one more little bit. This is a little gift I suggested, but the staff managed to come up with a few snaps of your life with H&L, etc. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. I don't agree with you. Common, mouth open. Any drinks there? I have a dream. That's good. I have a dream.
Get me off the stage in my dream.
Here he is with a couple of his favorite women. I can call you buddy, but not like the last four fellows. But buddy, you deserve that. You deserve our thanks, our appreciation for all your effort. We really appreciate what you've done for us and helped us, and there's a little token of our appreciation for you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much, buddy. Thanks. I was saying at the table a little bit earlier that it's all, you do these things all for fun, but those pants last year, that was too much. I don't think I'll ever want to live that down. I have to apologize for my voice. I guess I'll give a public health service announcement to you that 5 o'clock this morning, there was a very contagious laryngitis virus that was floating around my suite. And the 30 or 40 people that were there at 5 o'clock this morning, many of them were speaking like me today. And I'm only giving this warning because I'd say around 3 or 4 o'clock this morning that virus might make its return, and it is very contagious. So I apologize for my voice. I'm humbled, I'm surprised, and well, obviously surprised. I've had a wonderful 12 years on the board and the executive, and sitting there today, looking up and seeing Bruce, who has always a great guy, but has he not grown into this role as being the chair? And I mean that sincerely, not that Bruce wasn't a very successful business person and volunteer and in his own right in Gander and other places, but watching him up there today at lunch and doing all this oratorical stuff that he didn't really like at the beginning. I mean, he's as slick as it comes, so I'm really proud of Bruce. Excellent job. And also looking at Todd and Jill, our future chairs, hopefully. Like, we're in good hands. We're in really, really, really good hands. So there are a couple of all-stars to keep your eye out on as well. I'm very, very thankful to be in this industry, as many of us are. We're very fortunate. We have a wonderful, wonderful industry that we're in. We're lucky to be in it. I'm going to give you one of my 30-second stories, Brett. One of the main reasons why I really found, as I've gotten older, I've enjoyed. I was involved in the family business. We always kind of did it, and I liked it. But as I've gotten older, I've realized how lucky I am to be involved in it. 2 years ago, a couple showed up at our shop in Cape Royal from Michigan. I don't think I've told anyone the story. I don't think I have. Anyways, they showed up from Michigan. Nice couple, and it was the end of June, and I ended up taking them out with a small group of people. And the lady had come up for the geology. She was a geology teacher in Michigan, high school teacher. As we paddled around, she was saying that she'd really come up for the geology. She was really excited about. And we get out there, and in our normal course in June and July, and usually the first few weeks of August, there's a lot of whales around. So we had some wonderful humpback whale stuff around the boat, jumping around. It was a nice tour, like you'd like to have. It was a really, really good tour. So she had a great time, sweet people. Other people in the group were quite nice. We get back in the shop, and she's talking to me, saying what a wonderful time. She felt it was a life-altering day, and Newfoundland has been on her list to go for so long. She loved the rocks, she loved the waterfalls, the whales were spectacular. And she's talking to me, which is a common thing. People come in and they have this great experience. Her husband was talking to my parents, and my parents are not afraid to talk either. So they're having this wonderful chat back and forth, and I'm kind of looking. But there's something a little bit different about this conversation. So I'm on one side of the shop chatting with her and other guests, and she's really loving it. And the husband's over there. So I think no more. If he comes over and kind of shakes my hand, and they go on. So when they leave, Mom and Dad say to me, the lady had the tour from Michigan, yeah, did you hear her story? And everyone's got a story. We all got a story. I was like, no, I just heard she came up here. She said, well, her husband told the story, and he actually was crying. That was kind of the weird vibe thing that I could see in the corner. This lady, sweet lady, had been diagnosed 8 months before with cancer. And she had made, I guess what now is commonly referred to as a bucket list. After the movie, she decided the things she wanted to do before she was passing on. And Newfoundland Labrador was number one on her list, mainly for the geology. And so Mom was hugging me. Oh, I'm so proud you gave this lady. I'm like, Mom, I just did a tour. It's not a big deal. I know he loved it, which is a great time. The whales made the show. I just talk. That's my gig, right? So great time, wonderful. Got a lovely little note from her a few weeks later, still ranting, raving, a 3-page note. Really, really sweet. Middle of September, I come off the water, and I look up, and there's this lady, looking a bit different, but there I'm like, God. And we see thousands and thousands of people, as many of you do in your business, and the faces stick out to you. Sometimes the names don't, but where I'd see this lady just a couple months before, I'm like, wow, Michigan, she was going away. And then I heard the backstory from Mom and Dad. I'm like, wow, okay. She was given a couple months to live 6 or 8 months ago. Now she's back again. And she's back with her husband and a couple of big, tall, good-looking kids who were her sons. middle of September, and they'd taken the term off from college down in the U.S. So she looked a lot gaunter than she had looked a couple months before, and she was wearing a hat that was obviously was on because she'd undergone some treatments of some sort, and she had this hat on. And she'd come back, and she was so energetic and vibrant, a fair bit frailer, and was very excited about going out. And she had raved and raved and raved about Newfoundland Labrador to so many people and to her sons so much, and that she had such a life-altering experience that she wanted them to come up and experience it with her. So she was a bit frail, and they were all excited, and they were very, they were happy to be there. They were reserved. Obviously, it was not a great time in their life, but they were very proud to be there with their mom in this new place. And they were kind of getting their head around all these people that seemed a little bit too friendly, and they were trying to figure it all out. And I came over to Dad, and Dad said, yeah, I got to straighten away. I'm going to take her out in the group. I'm going to jump in the back of the boat with her. Her buckos, her two boys can paddle alongside with us in the group, but I'm going to paddle her because she was just, wasn't quite up to it. I said, perfect, that's great, and it was all good. So she was very excited and asked me about the whales. Did I see any whales in the trip I'd just come off? And I was like, because that's really why she brought her sons back, to see these whales and the great interaction, them 2 or 3 feet away and all that. So I said, I'm really sorry. We haven't, I'm sure Dad told you, but we hadn't seen any humpbacks in probably 3 weeks. And we had a couple minkies in the harbor a couple days ago, but this time of year, Cape Royal's 9 kilometers long. The humpbacks don't really come into the bottom of the bay anyway. We get hundreds and hundreds of them, but they're kind of about a half a kilometer where we were going to paddle away from. So I was like, I feel really bad, but I really don't think that's going to happen today. And she said, oh, they'll love the waterfalls, the caves, the eagles, the geology, because they like geology like me. And I think, perfect. So, they go on. Of course, Mom's crying. She's there, okay, very good. They're gone. We get them on the beach, and Skipper and a couple guides and 10 people go off. 3 of them are there. And they're not gone 30 seconds, and Dad radios the shop, and I'm in the shop, so pick up the radio. He said, Stanley, come out to the wharf. I'm like, oh, Jesus, someone tip over. No one tips. What's going on? September's going to be cold. So as I walk out to the wharf, we have a little shop. Some of you have been there, but we have a little shop on one side of the road. There's a fish plant and a wharf in front of us. As I walk out to the wharf, there's a whole bunch of fishermen standing on the wharf, and some of the fish plant workers are on the wharf. I'm like, geez, what is going on? Someone's in the drink. Are they dead? Oh, God. And as I came out to the wharf, there was a little 6 boats, like Dad and one of them and a couple of our guides. And Dad was with this lady, just probably about 5 or 6 feet away from the group, but right there. And there's a humpback whale, a big, big humpback whale, still in the water, like not moving, about 6 feet from her boat, right off the edge of the wharf. So I'm like, whoa. I'm like, am I seeing what I'm seeing? And the fisherman's saying, geez, boy, I'm fishing here 40 years, never seen a whale up there before. This is crack, this, and then they're all going on. All the fish platforms looking out the window, watching. Everyone's all excited. She was crying. Her sons were emotional. It was an amazing experience. So they paddle on and do their tour. And when Dad comes in, he says, Stanley, for the last 2.5 hours, that whale followed me and her around for 2.5 hours. And as we hit the beach, it stopped, turned around, and swam off. When she came in, her husband, it was very, very emotional for them, and she was so proud and happy. And it hit me then, how lucky am I? How lucky are we to be in an industry where we can provide something like that for a person, an experience that was truly mind-blowing. And after that day, I said, Dad, I don't know if I can ever leave this business. I guess I'm going to be poor for the rest of my life because this is just too important. About 3 weeks before Christmas that year, we received another really long 3-page note, but this time it was from her husband. And she'd passed away about 3 weeks after coming up on her second Newfoundland trip. And he said that at the wake, around the coffin, by far and away the most pictures that she had were of her Newfoundland Labrador experience, and a lot of pictures of her with the whales and her with her sons with the whales. Mom bawled and cried and did it all too, and it was all, but we're fortunate. In this room, we're the leaders of the industry. We work in an industry that is truly special and spectacular. And when you go away from an event like this, take the things you heard, take T.A. Loeffler's inspirational stuff, take what Rob Greenwood said, take the stuff, go back, don't ask yourself, what is H&L doing for me? What's the Department of Tourism and Culture and Recreation doing for me? Figure out what you can do for them. Figure out how they can help you. Be a partner, be a player, be a leader. When I did get involved in the association and later on the board, and of course to where I am finishing on the board now, I learned a lot, and Lan and then Roger and Stelman and a lot of the past chairs were very helpful to me. Just to kind of navigate a little young fella, 32 years old, being a chair, like what to do, and I found it excellent. And the skill set that I picked up through this, I wouldn't say Leslie and Winnie could ever create an e-merit skill set for the stuff you got to do, but it's been a wonderful professional development opportunity for me, and I don't regret any of the last 12 years at all. I've had a great time and a wonderful run. The association is by far and away in better hands now that I'm not involved, believe me. They're great. I really appreciate it. I don't even know why I told you that story. It kind of hit me as I'm sitting on the stool and the boys are roasting me. But that would be, I guess that's a parting message. We are becoming more and more professional. As I looked around the room, as kind of an aside, I said this to the boys earlier, every year the talent level seems to be going up in this room a good bit, and so does the tourism operators that show up as well. But I gotta say, I'm really proud and pleased to be involved in H&L, and I'll always be around the member. I will be sitting in the back from here on in, no more up at the front, and that's perfect for me too. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the time you went into making this happen, Bruce. It was surprising, but I feel touched by it, so thanks.
Thanks, Stan. The Rotary Club in Gander usually does a roast, but it takes us 6 months to put it together, not 60 minutes. To the boys, thanks a million, guys. You made it spot on. That's it for tonight. Have a great time tonight at the Glen Mill, and I'll see my new board tomorrow morning. To my old board from this year, thank you very much, each and every one of you. I think we had a successful year. You stuck with me, and we made some great changes. Have a great night. And if the award winners could come up front, we'll get some better snaps to make sure we got good shots. Thank you all. Have a great night.